Mr. President, today, U.S. taxpayers are subsidizing the electric car industry. The cost to these taxpayers is billions of dollars, and the subsidies have lasted now for nearly 30 years. In 2008, Washington added a tax credit for purchases of electric vehicles. The market was very small at that time, and it was worth encouraging that market. But today, the electric market for vehicles is well established. The auto industry no longer needs these pricey subsidies for electric vehicles, and I believe it is time to pull the plug on subsidies for electric vehicles. Leading manufacturers, including General Motors, Ford, and Volkswagen, have announced plans to massively increase investment in the electric vehicle market. Global automakers are promoting electric car luxury brands such as Bentley, Aston Martin, Maserati, Porsche, and Cadillac. Well, with these new electric vehicles coming to the market, the subsidy program is going to continue to run at an enormous cost to American taxpayers. Congress first passed legislation to provide subsidies for electric car buyers back in 1992. The purpose was to temporarily support a promising, environmentally friendly market. For decades now, Washington expanded this program of tax credits. At the same time, many states enacted similar subsidies. Between 2011 and 2017, electric car buyers received more than $4 billion in federal credits alone, costing taxpayers up to $7,500 for each vehicle. Well, this program disproportionately subsidizes wealthy buyers because nearly 80% of the tax credits go to households earning at least $100,000 a year. Well, these car buyers don't need a taxpayer subsidy. The program has served its purpose, and I say that because today 1 million electric vehicles travel our highways. The global demand for electric vehicles is rising as well. Now, nearly every automaker is entering the market. In fact, the U.S. Energy Information Administration projects that sales of light-duty electric vehicles will reach 4 million vehicles by 2025. So here's Exhibit A, Mr. President. This past weekend was Super Bowl weekend. They had so many commercials. They cost about $5 million to run an ad during the Super Bowl. Well, the automaker Audi ran a commercial saying that by 2025, 1/3 of their cars, 1 out of every 3 cars, will be an electric vehicle. So I use that Exhibit A, Mr. President, to say this market is firmly established. As a matter of fact, this market is positioned for expansion, which means so will the cost of subsidies. I believe it's time to take taxpayers off the hook. I've introduced legislation, the Fairness for Every Driver Act, and it's to end the electric vehicle subsidy program. My legislation has 3 key goals. First is to save taxpayers billions of dollars through the subsidy program. Second is to help maintain our aging roads and bridges. And the third is to reduce wasteful Washington spending. Now, according to the Manhattan Institute, ending this subsidy would save taxpayers an estimated $20 billion. $20 billion, Mr. President. The electric car market can thrive without Washington's subsidies. We see that it is thriving. It is growing. Nearly every state now provides its own subsidies and added incentives. California even mandates the percentage of cars that must be zero emission. This category is almost exclusively electric vehicles. In 2017, California's purchased 95,000 electric vehicles. Now, residents of my home state of Wyoming, where distances are long and recharging stations are few, purchased only 51. Hardworking Wyoming taxpayers shouldn't have to subsidize wealthy California luxury car buyers. Ending the electric car subsidies isn't just about saving taxpayer dollars. It's about our shared responsibility to maintain our highway system. The Highway Trust Fund is depleted. The Highway Trust Fund pays for road and bridge projects. Its main source of funding is the federal gas tax. Well, drivers of gas and diesel-powered vehicles pay this tax every time they pull up and fill up at the pump. Electric car drivers never pay these fees. Although a Tesla puts as much strain on the highways as a Ford Focus, the Tesla driver pays next to nothing to fix the roads. Without congressional action, the Highway Trust Fund will be exhausted by 2021. This legislation ensures all drivers pay their fair share to improve America's roads. It establishes an annual highway user fee for these alternative fuel vehicles. Comparable to the gas tax, this user fee will result in billions of dollars over the next decade to fund needed road projects. Mr. President, all drivers use the roads. All drivers should contribute to maintaining them. Electric cars are here to stay. The market is poised for growth with or without the subsidies. Congress should pull the plug on this program. It's time to end the subsidy. It's time to stop wasting taxpayer dollars. And it's time to level the playing field for all drivers when it comes to repairing our roads and bridges. It's time to pass the Fairness for Every Driver Act. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.